Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host, back for UFC Mexico City. In the main event, we got the Assassin Baby, Mexican Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. In the co-main event, we got the Mexican Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega rematch fight. This card is stacked. We got 10 Mexicans on this card. I expect a few of them to win, maybe a few underdogs. Last week at UFC 298, favorites went 10-1, so you don't see that too often when favorites just completely sweep the board. I could honestly see it again this week, though. I think the bookmakers are pretty sharp, and they got a lot of these fights priced correctly this week. But we're going to find some value. We're going to make some parlays, and we're going to discuss the entire betting breakdown. We're going to go through each and every fight, but first, comment your forecast of the week for this week, your most confident prop at plus money. We just lost the streak. We were 2 for 2, and then I rode with Timmy Tim and Fatal. Fatal had Kopylov by KO. That didn't cash in. And then Timmy Tim had Anthony Hernandez in round 3. Hernandez got the submission in round 2. So, unfortunately, we did not cash forecast of the week. But this week, I'm going to ride with one forecaster. Only one this week. It has to be a plus money prop. Put hashtag forecast of the week. And I'm going to ride with one forecaster and make content up for them. And last week, the picks weren't amazing. 7 for 12. That's pretty well 50%. But the locks of the week, I went 3 for 3. That is 100%. Barlow, Devashvili, and Robert Whitaker plus 250 ticket cash for all the forecasters that tailed that one. The lock streak is back. We're hot. And I had 100% confidence that they were going to cash, but I only put an 8.5 unit bet on that, unfortunately. I should have went heavier for sure, because I had a ton of confidence in it, but I'm just trying to get back on track here and try to get a little bit more confidence under me before I start putting more units down. And on this card especially, we have to be smart, manage the bankroll correctly, and try to make this bread. And last week, another thing to mention, Ilia Topuria is now the champion. I was on Volkanovski, so give it to me in the comments. I hate to see Volkanovski go down like that, getting knocked out back-to-back fights. It's Ilia Topuria's time, though, and the former co-host Loaf had Ilia Topuria, had him by KO, and that 5x prop would have hit. I didn't even take the bet, though. I definitely should have took the bet. I was just so confident Volkanovski had the experience, but obviously at his age and coming back after getting knocked out pretty bad in the first round to Islam Makhachev, wasn't lining up too good for him, and unfortunately, Volkanovski got uncrowned. Hate to see it. I was going to do a full recap show on UFC 298, but I just wanted to get UFC Mexico City all together. I custom make all the content here. I just don't run through topology and show you that shit. So please smash the like button if you appreciate all the work that I put in. Comment, help with the algorithm. And suplex to the subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, if you haven't yet, Discord's absolutely free. And you can see the locks for free, the dogs for free, the props of the week for free, the forecast of the week for free when that's posted on Friday, once I choose it. Because the forecast of the week gets chosen on Friday, right before I record the final show. So make sure you get in Discord absolutely free, and you get that early access. We're getting right into this card. We're going to start it off with the prelims. Like I said, we have 10 Mexicans fighting on this card. I expect quite a few of them to win. In the first fight of the night, though, we got a Tajikistan native and a Venezuelan, and they're going to throw down, and it's going to be entertaining because Erik Silva, coming off that loss to TJ Brown, I expect him potentially to get finished here, and if he doesn't get finished, I mean, he's going to get dominated. I don't think this guy's quite UFC caliber now, fighting a guy, Muhammad Naimov, 136 favorite, just beat Nathaniel Wood by unanimous decision. This is exactly what I mean by the odd makers being sharp this week. He's already a big favorite. The odd makers know Erik Silva ain't that guy. 325 for Erik Silva on the other side here. Before that loss 1 year and 2 months ago, he won on the Contender Series by ground and pound against a 3-0 opponent. Like, I'm not impressed with that whatsoever. And before that, he beat opponents that were 18-6, 12-5, 6-6. Not the highest of level. When you look at the side of Naimov, it doesn't get much better. 5-6, 4-3, 10-3 split decision win. And then his last fight was really impressive, though. 19-5, Nathaniel Wood handled business there. And Tajikistan really has a bunch of hype behind the whole country. The fighters there get well respected, and he's getting well respected by the odd makers, like I said. I don't think he's losing this fight. I think he has more finishing potential, and his cardio and gas tank will hold up in this fight. Unlike Erik Silva, I cannot trust him whatsoever. And next up, we're taking a look at a fight that really gets me up out of my seat here. Victor Altamirano and Felipe dos Santos. Dos Santos, his UFC debut was against Manuel. He won a round in that fight. Lost a unanimous decision, though. But I'm pretty sure he won at least a round. He showed his grit, determination, and I think he's winning this fight. Like I said, on the last prediction, at the start of this whole show, the odd makers are sharp this week. And they have Felipe dos Santos priced as a 130 favorite. He's clearly going to win this fight. Another guy with finishing potential. He's going to be a lot quicker. And Victor Altamirano, he's 33 years old now, 10 years older. I'm not the biggest fan of this guy's style, but he is tricky to deal with. I don't know if it's going to be easy to submit this guy or anything like that. It's probably going to even be hard to knock him out. But Felipe dos Santos should get his hand raised in this fight, and I'm fairly confident in the pick, especially at this price. And next up, we're going to take a look at one of the closest price fights on this card. So probably don't parlay either of these guys. It's just not worth it, right? You got Luis Rodriguez coming in, UFC debut against Dennis Bondar, who's just having a tough go over. Real tough go over. He had an arm injury against Malcolm Gordon. Lost his last fight by a technical decision against Carlos Hernandez. Wasn't looking great in that fight whatsoever. And before the UFC, he beat an 18-12 by a rear naked choke. A 1-0 opponent, horrible, and a 7-1 opponent looks decent, but it was 4 years ago, right? So I don't believe in Dennis Bondar. I did at one point, and I had money on him at one point, and it wasn't a good read whatsoever. Not really sure what I was thinking. When I look at the side of lazy boy Luis Rodriguez from Mexico, debuting in Mexico City, I gotta think he's getting it done, and he's plus 100 right now. Slight underdog. He's coming off a knockout win against an 11-11 opponent, but there was an ankle injury in that fight. Before that, he submitted a 5-1 opponent. Before that, he beat a 5-0 opponent by split decision. Beat a 5-1 opponent before that by unanimous decision. And he knocked out a 6-5 with a left hook. I believe in him in his debut in Mexico City. Not only is he mentally going to be ready to go, in my opinion, I think he's physically the better fighter in this fight. So at this underdog price tag, he easily could be a dog of the week for me. I want you to join Discord right now. Get that early access. I got nothing locked in for dog of the week. It's early in the week. It's only Sunday right now, so I'm going to look more into this one right away and potentially could even have bets on it. So even join Patreon, $5 a month exclusive early access to all my bets, my platinum picks with the confidence levels, which is going to be posted right before this show. And this is also the first week that the line movement tracker is going to be for Patreon only for $5 a month. All what you got to do is hit the link in the bio below. And next up, the lightweights are going to go to work here. But neither of these fighters represent the country of Mexico. Claudio Puelles and Fareed Smile Killer Ziam. Probably butchered his name because I don't really know how to pronounce it. But the Smile Killer, Fares Ziam. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it though. Ziam is currently sitting at a minus 225 favorite. Bookmakers probably have it right because Claudio, he gasses out. I'm not going to lie, he gasses out. And Dan Hooker took full advantage of that in the second round with the body kick. Claudio doesn't have the best striking. The Smile Killer is sharp, quick, and accurate. Everywhere's on the floor he's good. Striking he's good. And I don't see anywheres where he's going to lose this fight other than a fluky submission attempt from Claudio Puelles, Prince of Peru, whose only method of victory here is going to be the submission. So if you like him, take him by submission. He's searching for those knee bars, but against a guy with good takedown defense and good submission defense for the most part. I know he got submitted to Terrence McKinney, but the thing there is McKinney is so aggressive and quick in that first round. Claudio ain't going to be like that. He ain't going to come right out of the gate and be that aggressive. Claudio's going to be more calculated and pick his shots. Like Terrence don't pick his shots. He goes out there and throws everything at once and is so slick when he gets it to the ground, just searching for the rear naked choke, where Claudio has to set up a knee bar and stuff like that, where he's not going to be able to do that against the Smile Killer here. I got to ride with the favorite once again in this fight. Let's get it. And next up, we got a fight that I just can't wait to break down for the third time I think it is now. Like, these boys had a no contest fight, and then I'm pretty sure they had a fight that got canceled after I forecasted it. So they're scheduled again. Edgar Chairez and Daniel Lacerda. And I was going Lacerda originally, but when the odd makers reopened this fight, Chairez is now a bigger favorite, and I fucking agree. Like, Lacerda is going to be inside the distance or bust here. He's going to be searching for the finish, and the reason why I'm going to switch my pick here is because Chairez clearly got the submission. It wasn't a premature stoppage in my opinion. I'd say Lacerda went out, and he's going to go out again. 60% of people out of the 93% that think Chairez is going to win are believing the submission is going to happen. So 60% out of that 93 believe submission is happening here for Chairez. Take the submission prop. Be smart with your money here. It's going to have to hit. I know he doesn't have much to offer on the feet. I'd be surprised if he can knock out Daniel Lacerda, even though Lacerda has been knocked out multiple times and it's not that hard. Victor Altamirano knocked him out. And his last 4 losses, he's been knocked out to CJ Vergara. Where in the first round, he almost found a finish of his own. That's why I was going with him originally. Maybe I'm going to regret switching over to Edgar Chairez. But a lot of people I respect are taking him. And I don't want to look like an idiot taking this underdog. Last week, I took 4 of them. Not one of them worked out for me. This would be the week that I go Chairez and then the big underdog hits on this fight here. But, you know, I truly believe Chairez will find that submission this time around. His loss in the UFC was by a decision. He didn't get finished, and it was to 13-0 Tatsuro Terra. So that's actually a pretty good loss. And next up, we got the third flyweight fight of the evening, Jesus Aguilar, Mateus Mendonca. And this is another one that gets me excited. Like, these two boys are going to throw down, and it's going to be a close fight for the most part. But one guy could have his way. Now, the slight underdog is going to be my pick. I'm going with the Mexican here, Jesus Aguilar. He possesses a lot of power. And his last fight was against 13-7 Shannon Ross. Shannon Ross is not a very high-level opponent. And his loss was to Tatsuro Terra by submission, which a loss to Tatsuro Terra is not bad whatsoever. Mateus Mendonca got knocked out pretty bad to Nate Maness. I had Mendonca as a lock of the week, and I will happily go against him now and get that plus money. He lost to Javid Bastrat as well, unanimous decision. And I think he was the favorite in the last fight just based off the Javid Bastrat unanimous decision loss. People think that was a really good loss to have, and it was his debut, this and that. But on the Contender Series, his opponent was 6-1, wasn't the most experienced, and before that, he fought a guy that was 21-5, beat him by a decision. I don't know if he has the most finishing potential here, rather than Jesus Aguilar, who possesses a lot of power in his punches, and on the ground, he is a threat as well. His Dana White Contender Series win was against 11-1 opponent. Very impressive. And he also sunk a guillotine choke on an 8-3 opponent. So he's beaten pretty decent guys. But for the pick, actually, yeah, fuck that. I'm not going Jesus Aguilar. Or am I? Fuck. Mateus Mendonca is training at Chuta Box Diego Lima. Like, maybe he can get back those 2 losses. Jesus Aguilar just beat Shannon Ross, who is pretty bad, but is in front of the Mexican fans. Health at plus money. Let's go with it. Jesus Aguilar for the win. And next up, we got the prelim headliner between Cristian Quinonez and Raoni Barcelos. This is going to be a pretty good fight. Now, Raoni Barcelos, 36 years old. He's getting old in his career, but all around, he's a good fighter. On the ground, he can excel. On the feet, he can keep it close. Cristian Quinonez, as a 250 underdog, isn't going to get my money here. He was a former lock of the week for me, and then he got submitted in the very first round. Made me look like a dummy. And in this fight, I'm not going to tell you guys to go chase this underdog here whatsoever. I know he's from Mexico. I know he's going to fight hard in front of the fans. And he is the much younger fighter, but he doesn't have a reach advantage, anything crazy like that. Other than being 9 years younger, that's the only thing working for him right now. Barcelos lost his last 2 fights. He should be motivated for a win here. If not, he should probably hang him up. 3 losses in the row in the UFC. Not very good. He got slept to Umar Nurmagomedov, and that was a clean left hook. I don't see that happening in this fight. Like I said, Cristian Quinonez was a former lock of the week, and he couldn't knock out Kyon Ho Kang for me. He's not getting my money this time. No way, Jose. He's an underdog in this fight. Like I said, the odd makers are sharp this week. I would say the odd makers have a lot of these fights priced correctly, and Raoni Barcelos is going to be a fairly confident pick for me this week. And next up, before we get into the main card, please, if you have not yet, smash the like button, suplex the subscribe button, turn on that notification button as well, so then you get notified as soon as I drop these videos. And then you don't have to be like, oh shit, the video's been out for like 10 hours now, or you missed the video. That would suck. So you want to get notified as soon as my videos drop. Just hit the notification button there once you subscribe, and I would appreciate a comment. And don't forget, put hashtag forecast of the week. Give me your most confident prop at plus money, and I'm going to ride with one forecaster each and every week on the Early Prediction Show. Thanks everyone for tuning in this week. I know the picks last week went 50%, 7 out of 12, but the locks, 3 for 3, 100%. Volkanovski lost in the main event. We're all in mourning over that loss. Hate to see it, but we're going to deal with it together as a team. And as a team, we're going to make this money. And if you got the extra money, only $5 a month, Patreon is going to provide platinum picks with the confidence levels, method of victories, all the bets, early access to everything. Forecast of the week, locks of the week, dog of the week, and the bets with all those are posted in Patreon first. So let's get after this main card right now. I'm not here to waste your guys' time. I'm here to give you my leans, my predictions. You don't have to agree with me on each and every fight. That's all right if you don't agree with me. In the comments, I don't mind seeing some disagreement. Let me know. Maybe stay away from this fight, or maybe put a sprinkle here or there, hedge here and there. Even when you do disagree with a fight, that's completely okay. We're here to try to figure things out together. Like I said, I'm not going to have each and every pick right. That's impossible. But I'm here to entertain, here to give you some extra information, my leans, some of my bets. So I appreciate everybody stopping by each and every week, even through the lows, you know what I mean? Like, the loyal people are the ones that really matter here. Like, they keep me motivated, and they keep pushing me to get these videos out there, even when it's a slump, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to eventually break out of the slump, and times are going to be great. So when times are bad, just know times are going to be good. So I'm done wasting your time. Let's get after it. First fight on the main card. These boys are going to be searching for a knockout. I expect a knockout finish 100%. We're taking a look at Manuel, Torres, and Chris Duncan. Both these guys possess a lot of power. Both of them are fast. And honestly, they're both pretty durable as well. A decision wouldn't be crazy. These guys are fairly durable. They could just go trade for trade, and it could be fight of the night. Would not shock me whatsoever. Manuel Torres is hard to take down, and on the feet, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's super fast. In front of the fans here, I expect him to maybe find a finish, and if he can't find the finish, get his hand raised by a decision, because Chris Duncan, on the Contender Series, he struggled before he found the win. He was getting touched up on the feet. He was getting hit. I can't believe he didn't get knocked out, but that's what I mean. He's very durable. And then he came back and got his own knockout shot. So it's going to be a knockout or a decision in this fight. That is a very confident lean for me. I'm going to be staying clear of the under and overs on this fight just because of that. And I'm going with Manuel Torres because Vyacheslav Borisov, a volume fighter, found a left hook on the Contender Series 2 years ago. And Torres has way more power. He's going to be way more faster. And Chris, the problem Duncan, is going to have some problems to deal with on Saturday night. And next up, I got the forecast for a women's fight that is very wide priced. And it's between Yazmin, Jauregui, and Sam Hughes. I might have said Yazmin's last name wrong, but that's no big deal. It's very difficult to pronounce. And she's coming off a very tough loss to Denise Gomes, where she got rocked and outstruck and sent to the Shadow Realm. But I think she's going to try to revenge that loss. She was undefeated before that. She beat Estela Nunes, 6-3 opponent, 13-4 opponent by unanimous decision, 6-3 opponent before that by knockout, 5-0 opponent by knockout. Like, she has some all right wins. She's still quite green in her career. She has some work to do, I would say, especially on the feet striking. Sam Hughes, like, so durable, so tough. She's going to fight for your money. She definitely did last fight in that unanimous decision against a 6-0 opponent. Like, she's going to work hard, and she's not going to quit on herself whatsoever. Only 1 year ago, she knocked out Elise Reed from top mount with some elbows. Like fuck, 450 for Sam Hughes. I don't really agree with this one. This is the one that I don't really agree with. I think they're trying to lure you into Yazmin, and she could very well get knocked out again. She's coming off a knockout loss 7 months ago. She had time to recover, but I don't think she had time to improve her striking. I think Sam Hughes has more experience inside the UFC, no doubt about that. Her last 5 fights were all inside the UFC, and 9-1 Luana Pinheiro couldn't finish her. And Pierre Rodriguez, 8-0, couldn't finish her. Like, don't tell me Yazmin is going to finish her. I don't see that happening. I see this fight going the distance. This big women's underdog could win. I could definitely see it now that I'm looking at it. I might even side with it just for the hell with it. Like, the price is so wide. This, in my opinion, is a dogger pass situation. So for that, I might go with the underdog here. Last week, I went with 4 underdogs. Not one of them went my way. And I want to go with Daniel Lacerda, but I'm not gonna. I might just go with Yazmin for the sake of it. But I'm going to come back on Friday and give you all my final picks and reads. So make sure you tune in, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back, baby. And next up, the 19-year-old is back in action. Raul Rosas Jr. against Ricky Turcios, who is 30 years old, from Houston, Texas. He's a little wild and crazy in there. Possesses a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight and some experience. But he's coming off a split decision win where he didn't overly impress me. His striking probably won't win him this fight because Rosas Jr. is training super hard. His striking is improving rapidly. I think a lot of us are going to be shocked in this fight, and Rosas Jr. is going to impress us on the feet once again. Ricky is just so awkward, and I feel like he leaves himself to be knocked out. I could see back-to-back knockout wins for Rosas Jr. here. His debut was against the 10-6 Jay Perrin, and then he lost to Cristian Rodriguez, but Cristian Rodriguez has game, and that's not a bad loss. Kid survived. He ain't going to get knocked out or finished in this fight. He has a lot of heart. In front of the home fans, I expect him to get the win. Impressive fashion. I'm looking for a knockout finish for Rosas Jr. once again. And next up, we're going to break down another high-confidence pick for me, Daniel Zellhuber against Francisco Prado. Now, Zellhuber in his last fight, I went against him. Shame there. I think I went with the underdog of the week. Christos Giagos, not a good look there. He got submitted by Anaconda Choke in the second round, and Zellhuber looked dominant. Very dominant. He has a good takedown defense. He can get takedowns of his own on the ground. Clearly, he's a problem. On the feet, he has a reach advantage here. A crazy reach advantage, 8 inches to be exact. He's also 3 years older. In front of the home fans, there's a lot of reasons to like the favorite here, Daniel Zellhuber. I'm going to pick him with very high confidence, but Prado is very durable. He's very tough, and his hands are his specialty. He has a lot of power as well. Knocked out Otman Azatar, 13-1 opponent in the first round, but he lost to Jamie Malarkey by unanimous decision. So no matter where this goes, I believe Daniel Zellhuber is going to get his hand raised at the end of the day in front of the Mexican fans. Let's go. And next up, we got the co-main event rematch fight between Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega. Now, this one here, I was on Ortega originally. You think I'd stay on him because a lot of people I see would be switching to him now. He's 230, and he had some time to recover. But here's the thing. I think he's going to possess a little bit of ring rust, and he doesn't have that much power on the feet. When these two are striking, it's going to be Yair Rodriguez all day. That's my opinion. And on the ground, it's going to be Brian Ortega. So one of them will dominate what they do. Yair just fighting Volk wasn't very good on the feet. He got knocked out. We just seen Volk take a downward spiral. So, I mean, this is tough to cap. But the trend's going to continue, most likely for me, taking the Mexican fighters in front of the fans. I think they're going to be very motivated, mentally ready to go here. Yair on the feet shouldn't be a sweat, and his takedown defense should hold up to win us this fight. Brian Ortega, though, he's going to be throwing up submissions. You might see Yair get caught in one for a couple minutes, but it's not going to be tight enough for him to tap out or go to sleep. We should be safe. Yair should win this fight. It could even be a lock of the week for me. So what I want you to do to get early access to the lock of the week is hit the link in the bio below, join Discord, absolutely free. Yair finished Josh Emmett by submission, and who didn't finish Josh Emmett? The current champion, Ilia Topuria. He's a higher ranked featherweight than Brian Ortega right now in his career. I believe he's going to shine in this fight. Like a year and 7 months might be a little bit too much. There might be some ring rust for Brian Ortega. He is a fighter that I like his style. I've cheered for him the past couple fights, but he's 1 win, 3 losses in his last 4 fights. Hasn't been very active. His only win was a decision to the Korean Zombie 3 years ago. I mean, I can't take the underdog here. I'm sorry. I'm rocking with the Mexican, Yair Rodriguez. El Panthera all day long. And next up, let's annihilate this main event because last week we got let down with Volkanovski unless you were on the Ilya train. We weren't. We were on Volkanovski. So we got some work to do here. We got Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval, and we're going to pick Brandon to win this fight. 100% confidence Brandon wins this fight. So I want you to put everything you got on Brandon. And thank you for watching the Fight Fiend. I'm just kidding, guys. Come on. Come on, I'm just joking. Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval, this fight between the Assassin Baby and Raw Dog is going to be intense with implications on the line, I would have to assume. Both of them just suffered a decision loss to Pantoja. Pantoja has no one to fight, and I feel like the split decision to Pantoja was so close. We deserve an immediate rematch, but didn't get it. We never get what we deserve. So Brandon Moreno is going to have to fight his ass off in front of the fans and get this one done against a short notice opponent, Brandon Royval, who is definitely not as durable as Brandon Moreno. Moreno can walk through as many shots as he wants. And on the ground, the skill gap is far too wide for these two boys to be priced 3-1. Moreno is an easy pick this week. 100% confidence. The former champion Moreno gets it done in front of the fans. The Assassin Baby is going to win this fight and look to get back at his arch nemesis, Alexander Pantoja. They deserve the immediate rematch. They didn't get it. They're going to get it for the third time now. It's going to be a really good fight for the third time. I would expect it to get a lot of pay-per-view buys. It's going to get my pay-per-view buy. I can't wait for it. This fight is probably going to be over half quick, honestly. I think Moreno's going to be very determined in front of the home fans here, looking for the finish. And like I said, join Discord, join Patreon. You're going to get early access to my lock of the week because Moreno potentially could be one of them. I have so many high-confidence picks on this fight night that we have to play it smart and manage our bankroll. So I'm going to go back, look through all my notes, do some more notes and tape study, and then I will determine my lock of the week, dog of the week, and get everything out there probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Early access is going to be for Discord. Patreon, $5 a month for Patreon as well. It's not that expensive. I have the platinum pick sheet with the confidence levels, method of victories, like I said, with all my bets as well. So that's where you need to be. Patreon, $5 a month. Patreon will also open up Discord, all the lock channels. You want to get the lock channels, and you want to get notified as soon as the videos drop. Turn on the post notification if you want to subscribe to the Fight Fiend Forecast. Smash the hell out of that like button and comment #Forecast of the Week. Give us your most confident prop at plus money, and let's get paid.